Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, you cheekies. How are you all doing today? I'm in an even better mood. I mean, things just keep getting better and better. This time, the darling, fabulous Prince of Wales, Prince William. Oh my, absolutely loved watching him at London's Air Ambulance Charity Gala at the Old War Office, otherwise and now known as Raffles 5-star hotel in London, which, as you all know, has a special place in mine and Graham's hearts, because when we were in London, we were walking down Whitehall. Oh, thank you, yes. And we saw Raffles. Now, I'd only ever heard of Raffles Singapore. So I thought, oh, Raffles, that's fancy. And we didn't dare go in the place because you know how these kind of places can be. So I emailed them, and then I spoke to them on the phone to go say, could we go in the bar for a drink? We're not guests. And they were absolutely wonderful. And the lady on the phone said, don't worry, we're not going to turn you away. Because I said, oh, is there a dress code? What should we wear? What shouldn't we wear? And when we went in, it had only been open for 6 weeks. And the staff there are swell with pride. It is a really historic building. I mean, Winston Churchill had an office there. Of course, Ian Fleming, the creator of 007 himself. They have spent billions doing this building up. And Graham said, can I borrow a pen? And they gave him this pen. And they said, you can keep that. And it's actually really weighty. I don't know if it's marble or plastic. It's really cold. And so he's keeping that. Oh, I'll put it, that's the right way up. He's keeping that as the souvenir. And they gave us a full guided tour, which the head concierge did. So we're really familiar with where William was last night. Now, oh, the plot thickens about old Harry, doesn't it? Now he's returned. What an idiot. I can't believe. I don't know why. I am constantly surprised at the depths of Harry's stupidity. Utter stupidity. There is so much to cover. But I mean, he's been snubbed by his dad, and I'll come to the length of the meeting and various theories and whispers and rumours and people who have excellent sources. I'll come to that in a minute. Let's put it this way. They are the most famous family in the world. They're going to be scrutinised, they're going to be followed, and they're going to be talked about. So if I had been Harry's advisor after his dad flew away and made a great escape in a helicopter, I would have said, you stay in London for minimum 3-4 days. Keep your head down, maybe have a few photos, let people see you out and about in a restaurant, but whatever you do not make a big fanfare about returning to the US, because that's how it's going to go down in history, you moron. Oh, that looked like a temper tantrum. Right, William won't take my calls. Daddy doesn't want to talk to me. Auntie Anne's being mean. I'm right, flounce, bounce, off to Heathrow. Oh, what an idiot he looks. I almost have pity for him. But don't worry, I don't actually. Because he clearly doesn't have a brain cell. I doubt even if I bet Meghan said, you bloody well stay there. Because if he'd stayed for 3 or 4 days, there'd have been a bit of mystique. What was he doing for 3 or 4 days? Then she might have had a chance with WME to say, look, he did. He was there for 4 days and he met William. You know, she could have lied. Anybody could have lied. The PR could have said, oh yeah, and then he went and met Sophie and Edward and he did this and he was doing all kinds of deals and meetings and he's back in with the royal family. What he did by advertising that he was returning to the States, I mean, what was the bloody point in the journey in the first place? All those hours on an airplane to get there for allegedly 45 minutes, maybe 35 minutes, 30 minutes according to some, 12 minutes according to some, 17 minutes. I mean, and then to fly straight back the next day. That is just advertising to WME that the royal family just went, we don't want to know. So that is not going to help Meghan's cause. to pump herself up with royal connections and the fact that the family's all forgiven and forgotten, and yet another bloody olive branch. God, the olive branches, there can't be an olive tree left in the world, all these olive branches. Right. So I will come to the length of the alleged meeting between Charles and his son. Well, according to Neil Sean, who I watched this morning, and I did notice that Neil actually struggled not to laugh. A source allegedly told him that Harry kind of said, Meghan would like to talk to you, Pa. I can get her on speed dial right now if you like. To which apparently, allegedly, there was a deafening silence amongst participants in the room. One can only imagine if such a thing happened. The King and Camilla staring at him. According to Lady C, it was a 12-minute meeting. I do believe her sources are impeccable. But 12 minutes, was that the longest staring contest in the world? And did King Charles win before he went, security, guards, remove, or pulled the lever for a trapdoor? I'm sorry, no. He might have seen him down a corridor as he was being dragged away by a couple of King's guards. I'm not having it. I'm not having it at all. What's the point in flying, which must add up to, like, I don't know how long it takes to fly to America, probably 24 hours for a return journey, for a 12-minute visit? Oh, it's bad. But then there came another sting in the tail from his brother. We all remember the sky legend. Harry is the sky god, isn't he? He's a living aviation legend, which also Tom Cruise is. But I don't believe Tom was at the living legend thing when Harry received his accolade, was he? But he was at the old War Office with William last night, as you all know. Now, what I really loved was William's speech that he gave. Very short and sweet, very lovely, excellent cause. I mean, these guys are real heroes. The air sea rescue helicopters, you wouldn't believe that the crew are putting their lives literally in danger. That is a living aviation legend. And yes, I have heard the rumour that John Travolta did ask William first, but he felt it was a little big-headed and he didn't really want to accept an accolade like that. So they thought, is there a spare? Oh yeah, there was that book, wasn't there? Right. So William basically said about Tom Cruise. I mean, firstly, just having Tom Cruise there, talking about how he himself, as we all know, was an air ambulance helicopter pilot. Actual helicopter pilot, not passenger seat type thing. But the bit I really liked, which surprised me, was after me cracking the Mission Impossible joke yesterday about Harry running across the lawn to try and grab hold of the helicopter, William himself made a reference to Tom Cruise and Mission Impossible. Now, he could have made a reference to Top Gun, which is probably Tom's most famous. But no, he chose Mission Impossible. And I found that great minds think alike. Yes, yes. Or is it the case that something like that happened? Were there tantrums? Oh, can you imagine if there was something like that with Harry sort of screaming, Pa! Pa! I need to talk to you. I need money. I need money. I mean, it's like a modern day Caroline of Brunswick. Good God. I thank God that the internet and television and media did not exist back in the day of poor Queen, well, she was Queen Caroline of Brunswick in the end, wasn't she? Prinny just didn't want her there at the coronation, and in front of everybody, the woman was beating her fists on the door, apparently crying, snot swinging from the nose and everything, and dragged away. What a scandal. Now, I also did see the piece from Robert Jobson, who said that it was a 30-minute meeting. I'm sorry, I'm just not buying it. I'm not buying it at all. If you do get the chance in London to visit Raffles, I highly recommend it. One of the stories the guy told us, that the head concierge, was that when they started developing the building, they were gutting everything, and they found these tunnels, obviously the War Office tunnels, and they found a door, and they just couldn't break the door down. You know, they were there all day long. And they gave up in the end and said, we'll start again tomorrow morning. It was like this sort of cast iron door. The next morning when they came down, the door was open, and so was the army, and so was the other official building which it had been connected to. This door had been closed for years, and they went, who the hell are you, and why are you trying to get into the Ministry of Defence? To which they said, oh God, so sorry, we bought the building and we're renovating it to turn it into a hotel. And they went, okay, we'll let you off. Don't open this door again, please. Don't even try it. So it's one of those kind of buildings. There's networks of tunnels and secret passages all throughout London. I mean, I was never that struck on London before we spent time there. And it's actually a bit like a little village. Nothing is very far away from anything in the centre. I mean, Big Ben, River Thames is not that far from Buckingham Palace. The Ritz is not that far away. Whitehall, of course, and number 10, they're right there. New Scotland Yard. I never knew New Scotland Yard is actually on the river, on the embankment. I'd always thought it was, you know, I don't know, like a load of streets somewhere, because on the news, they always filmed that spinning pyramid thing, which we videoed of me being silly. But it's all connected, and there are all these tunnels. I mean, it's just fantastic. And I recognised exactly the part where they were in, and they were meeting the air ambulance crew. Wonderful. And I think that was a big fuck you, Harry, from William. I really do. And I don't think all is going to be forgiven and forgotten at all. What will be interesting is how people cope. Yes, also, before you say it, I bet a load of you have typed comments already. There was some nobody no mark who was packed in a car park or a car or something. I couldn't make out who it was. It was photographed through a windscreen. It was just sort of some teeth.
Can you see me? Carl, can you see me? Are you getting a shot?
I don't know who that was. Some nobody that nobody is interested in. Anyway, I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions. Be reading the comments. Sometimes I feel that pundits try and take us for a fool. I'm very much looking forward to hearing what Lady C has to say about this, because, you know, she's my go-to girl. And I saw her on GB News last night, and she did not hold back. I was like this. I love you, Lady C. I love you. I love you. I love you. I think that's probably everything for today. Do you guys think that William was making a point? I think he was making a point. And I mean, interesting question. Would any of you fly halfway around across the world for a 10-minute meeting and then straight back? I mean, come on. Isn't Harry stupid? That's his biggest fear, by the way. He said in his book. I've read half of his book. That's what he said. His biggest fear is that everybody's going to think he's stupid. How's that for irony? Well, if I'd been advising him, I'd have said, stick it out in London, no matter how uncomfortable, and be seen in some fabulous restaurants, or go for a jog round the park with your security. Oh, that's right, I forgot. The UK is the most dangerous country in the whole wide world. Way more dangerous than Jamaica, way more dangerous than anywhere in America where people have the right to bear arms, and quite right too, because that is your constitution, Americans, and you must never let anybody mess with your constitution. Yes, UK, yeah, deadly, absolutely deadly. I remember from walking around at 3 o'clock in the morning looking for something exciting that was going on. It's actually very, very safe. Because there's London, big London, and then there's City of London, which is a very small part, which is where all the livery companies are, and the Bank of England. And there's the City of Westminster. And the City of Westminster is actually, it's really quite villagey, and that's where all the central tourist attraction, most of the central tourist attraction things are. And I found it extremely safe. I walked back and forth to the hospital every day, 40-minute walk to visit Graham while he was in. I was walking around in the middle of the night because I suffer with insomnia. I was walking around in the day. I just didn't sense anything. But for Harry, oh my God, oh my God. I'm amazed he's such a lily-liver little chicken when he's an aviation legend. Anyway, I'll leave it there. As always, lots of thoughts and opinions, I bet, coming from you cheeky monkeys, which I look forward to reading. Thank you very much for listening.